Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Happy birthday to me. Yep, today is my birthday. 71 years old. I'm telling you, that's old. So I have this piece of sycamore. This is about 10 inches long, and at the widest part here, it's about just over 3 inches. So I found center from here to about here. I'm just disregarding this part. It's going to get cut off anyway. So I'm going to end up with about a 3-inch cylinder or so. I marked both ends, poked a little hole in them, and we're going to make a vase. This is going to be the bottom, so I'm going to mount it up here first on the tailstock end and create a tenon so that I can turn it around and put it in the chuck. But for now, we're going to turn between centers, so I'm just going to take my 4-prong center and put it in my chuck and tighten it up just like that. There's really no reason. A lot of guys will, I'm going to pull that out just a little bit. A lot of guys will take the chuck off and put this in the Morse taper of the headstock, but there's really no reason to do that. You can just chuck it up in your chuck and it works just great. Saves a lot of messing around time. So I'm not even going to mark that. I'm not going to pound that into this. I'm just going to stick that pointy part in the hole, and I'm going to do the same thing over here on the tailstock end, pointy part in the hole, and then I'm just going to tighten it up. And that'll just set those prongs and it's not going to come off of there, and I have no qualms about that. So let me get a mask and face shield on here, get some kind of a spindle gouge, and we're going to get to turning. We're going to be turning at about 700 RPM, and I'm going to use this shallow spindle gouge. Just to be cautious, I'm going to tighten up my tailstock ram a little bit here. Maybe I can pick the speed up a little at about 830. Well, maybe it's kind of rotten on this end. My drive center is sinking in, so I'm tightening it up again. About 1200 RPM. Okay, that's close enough. Now I'm going to work on a tenon down here. So I'm just going to use my 1/4-inch parting tool to flatten off the end here and create a tenon for my chuck. I just want to make sure we have solid wood. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take my pencil and lay it on my live center. Just draw a circle for my tenon. And I'll just cut down to that. Okay, let's get this turned around. And see how that sunk in there? I think that's a little rotten, so I'm going to end up cutting some of that off. But that's not really unexpected. I didn't really want to make a 10-inch tall vase. I'm just going to loosely tighten the chuck, bring up my tailstock, and push that tenon into the chuck. And then I'll tighten the chuck jaws securely. And I don't know, maybe I'll cut down here a couple inches with my parting tool. See if that looks solid. It does look pretty good. So we'll start from here. This is going to be the top. I guess we'll use tailstock support for a while. And I'm going to spin that up and let the live center find its spot. So I'll just bring it in here while it's spinning. And then that should guarantee that it's centered. I'll pick the speed back up. Probably go pretty fast now. About 2100. We'll try that. Well, I see I've got a flat still here, and there's a flat on this side, and I want this fully round. So I'm going to take this half-inch spindle gouge and come in this way. This is probably routine stuff to you spindle turners. To me, it's frightening. I don't know how to handle one of these, but I guess I'll try and learn. I'm not so sure my grind is wonderful either. It's a little long to me. You be sure and tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Anyway, so I'm just going to come in here and round this up, and I guess I want this about as big here as the base. I'm going to put a base down here, and then a little spindle, and then a bulbous part, and then bring it in and back out like that. So I don't really know. I don't know how to do this. Bear with me. Let me get my mask on. I don't know if I need a face shield. Maybe not. Who knows? Hold on. I guess I need bevel support. And I guess if I come in here, I don't have any bevel support. So maybe I'll come this way. Well, I guess that works pretty good. So I'm going to leave that alone for now, and I'm going to start coming in to form some sort of a neck or some sort of a shape on here. I don't know what. So now I'm working this way. Pretty nice cuts, I'll say that. Don't know how. Well, I need to come in right from the very top. It's entirely possible this needs to be much thinner. I don't really know. So I think I'm going to come down here and make a parting cut so that I know where I want to stop. How would I know? So that's all waste. Then I want a base on here, maybe a 1/4 inch thick, and then like I said, then a little spindle, and then a bulbous part. I don't know. Don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to get in there to make a little spindle part. See, I feel like I already spoiled it. I probably shouldn't have gone straight in right here because I want, you know, kind of a beveled top to the base, if that makes any sense. And then a little stem. Not artistic, don't have a clue. Bear with me, we're having fun. It's my birthday. Be careful of that, right? Sure, I already did some kind of damage. Let's see how bad I screwed it up. Ooh, pretty bad, but I can fix it. kind of fun turning at this speed. Don't get to turn a bowl at this speed very often. Oh yeah, this is probably way too fat, but hard to know yet. And that's no, it's not quite fixed. Every move I make is scary. I'm not done. Relax. I just don't know how to attack this. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what I want to do here exactly. A bead in the middle maybe. This might have gotten too thin now since I had to fix it. Yeah, this is probably too tall or too thick, or it just doesn't look right, does it? And I don't want this pointed like it is right now. I want it round. I don't know what tool to use to make that round. I could scrape it round, but that'll just tear it up. Just working it out. Looks like a nuclear reactor or something. Well, yeah, let's just try that. Let's just try scraping it. Just because I want to. I don't know what else to do here. Boy, I wish some of you folks could be standing here telling me, you know, cut it off, it's too dang tall, or thin that out, or what are you going to do down here? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not done, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to get a smaller scraper to go in here. That'll mess it up good, probably. I really wanted to get a bead in here, a nice big bead, but I don't know how to accomplish it. I can come in here and cut a cove, and I can cut a cove. I think I messed this up. This should be thicker. And chances are excellent I can't put any back on there. If I take this down a lot more, that'll make this appear thicker, I guess. The more I take it down, the longer the reach is, and the worse chance I have of doing what I had in mind. Wow, I do not know how you spindle turners do it. Well, I've been standing here looking at this trying to figure out what it needs, and it doesn't have any style at all. So I'm going to thin this out some, and what I'd like to do is try and move this fat part up a little bit, and the way to do that, I guess, is to cut this away on this side, thin this out, and just kind of move it up a little. I don't know. Like I said, I am not artistic, and I'm not a spindle turner. And I also think I need more room down here. I wanted this to be much thinner than it is, and put a couple of coves and then a bead in the middle. So I will work on that. Yeah, I think that has a little more style. Kind of screwed up my edge up here, but I'll fix it. And it needs a little refining, no doubt about it. I'm scared to death I'm going to get a catch because I don't have any tool control because I don't know how to operate these things. Yeah, that to me that looks better. I hope you agree. I think I am going to take a scraper and try and do a little refining here. pretty nice grain here. I just about hate to mess that up with trying to put the coves and the bead in there. Got a little bit of spalting up here. Yeah, this is more what I had in mind. Scraper sure doesn't leave a very nice finish, however. Well, let's see. And I did want it thicker. I wanted it thicker, but I see I can't have it thicker in order to have any nice shape to it. I wanted it thicker though, so that I could actually hollow it out. This looks like I'm just gonna have to drill a hole and kind of fake it. Well, how could I put in some coves and a bead? Well, I have this little guy. This is actually a hollowing tool, but I don't know why that wouldn't work. Yeah, maybe we'll try that. I'll really screw it up now. You ready? Well, that's kind of the right idea, but it's not good yet. I think these need to be deeper. I wish this had a smaller cutter on it. What do you think of that? That's pretty much what I had in mind. Plus I gave the base a nice shape here on accident, but it works. I know it's not the most beautiful thing you ever saw, but it's pretty close. I wish this was a little thicker. I still need to get deeper, but cutter is just kind of too big. Well, it's starting to look more like a wine glass than a vase. but on the other hand, I kind of like whatever it is. At least I feel like I've done something here. I think I'm going to dish this out just a little bit. This is a real easy tool to use. Well, you know, I think we're about there. This is pretty much what I had in mind. I don't know. I think I wanted this to be smaller. This whole stem to be smaller than it is. But on the other hand, maybe it's about right. And this looks better thinned out, don't you think? It's raining on my birthday. It's raining on my birthday. What is up with that? It's a long walk back into the house, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get all wet. Yeah, I kind of like this. I don't know about this, but it's okay. I definitely need to undercut this bottom. This is the bottom of it. This is all waste over here. I need to undercut it so it'll sit flat. So I'll probably have to take this down, get it out of my way. But there's sanding and finishing and whatnot to do before all that takes place. Can you live with that? Kind of cool grain, huh? Yeah, it's on two sides too, so that's nice. Yeah, I think we're there. What do you think? Should I put any lines in it? Any decorative stuff? Like a line here, a burned line here, one here? No? Come on, speak up. I can't hear you. Man, I'm telling you, you guys are tough. What a tough crowd. Well, you know what? It's 5:30. See that? Almost 5:30 on my birthday. And I think we're going out to dinner. Hoo-wee. So I'm going to leave this till tomorrow, but I'm pretty happy. But it does kind of look like a wine glass. But don't tell anyone, it's a vase. See you in the morning. Well, I'm discovering that it takes a different thought process when you're doing spindle turning. I just don't do enough of it to think far enough ahead, I guess. So here I've cut my stem down to where it's fairly small. It's not tiny, but it's probably about an inch thick down here. And then I've also started my parting cut. That's about 1.5 inches, so that's fine. But I haven't hollowed this out yet. And because of the grain down here where we have kind of little cracks in it, I don't know what to call it. I actually think it's attractive. It's not cracking as in, you know, cracking, but whatever that kind of grain is, I'm afraid it may be weak because of those cracks. And I don't want to stress this area too much. So I should have hollowed this out maybe earlier, but I'm going to do it now finally, now that I thought about it. Duh. So I'm just going to install a chuck and use a few sizes of drill bits to hollow this out. I'm going to start with 1 inch. I don't think that'll be too much stress for this small area. And I'll work my way up to maybe 1.5 inches, maybe 1 3/8 inches. I'm not sure. This is about 1 3/4 or a little better. So maybe 1 3/8 inches is about right. So let me get set up for that. So I've got the 1 inch bit installed. Going to be turning at about, not too fast, about 300 RPM, 350. And I want to go in about 4 inches. I think that's as big as we better go. Let me check my depth here real quick. Yep, right on the money. 4 inches, which takes me just past the high point of this. So that's good. Let me get cleaned up here a little bit. So my plan was to hollow this out, but I've actually drilled the wall thickness. It's 1/8 of an inch here in the narrowest part. Because I kind of enjoyed using this on the stem part of this down here, I'm gonna go ahead and just see what I can do here about making this look like it all blends together. So, and this does kind of vibrate a little bit. I did make a mistake by making that stem so thin prior to hollowing this out. And I'm gonna turn it about 1,000 RPM. Let me get my mask on here and we'll get started. Yep, just gonna have to take it slow and steady. A lot of vibration. Shame on me. Yeah, you can see the grooves that this is making because it's vibrating so bad. Maybe if I slow it down a little, maybe. That was 1,000, we'll try 800. I'm just not used to thinking this way. Well, that does help. It certainly is slow, but it got rid of some of those grooves in there. That might be just good enough right there. So stand by for sanding. So what I have here is just a 1/2 inch dowel that I've cut a slot in and threaded some sandpaper in there. This happens to be 150 grit. That's what I'm going to start with. And I'm just going to put it in there like that. Spin the lathe at about 330 RPM. Run my drill that way. So as this comes around this way, the sandpaper will be coming up against it. So that's 150. Next step is 180, 220, 320, 400, and then we'll go to work on the outside. So I'll bring you back for that. Whoops! I said I was going to bring you back when I was going to sand the outside, but what I ended up doing was taking the sandpaper off of the dowel from doing the inside and just used it on the outside. And I did that through all the grits. And now I've just remembered, and sorry about that, it's all sanded. So now it's time to put on sanding sealer. So we'll just start with a brush with a little sanding sealer on it to get inside here. I know you can't see that, but there's not really much to see. Just brushing it around inside there. Kind of hard to get way back in there, but we did it. Yep, that looks good. Then I'll just put some on a rag and just apply it normally. I will let this dry a while, half an hour or so, and I'll come back out and denib it, as they like to say, with steel wool. So this is the first of at least 2 coats of shellac, and it has 2 coats of sanding sealer. This wood is kind of unremarkable, really. It's a pleasure to turn, I can tell you that. and I have seen some nice grain come from it. In this case, this is the unremarkable part. This down here is beautiful. I wish it all looked like that. Not sure what the difference is. So I will let that set for however long it takes, probably half an hour to an hour. And I'll come out here and use 4/0 steel wool to smooth it out, and I'll put on a second coat and we'll go from there. I'll bring you back when it's time to part this off of the lathe. Well, I've got 4 coats of shellac on here, and I'm pretty happy with the finish, especially this lower part. That is so pretty. I wish the rest of it looked like that. It doesn't. We'll live with it. So now it's time to part this off, and I'm going to waste away a lot of this, and then I'm going to come in with a smaller parting tool and undercut the base so that it'll sit flat on a table. Let me just see if I have a clean cut here. And I do have clearance, maybe you can see that. The center is higher than the bottom edges, so that's good. My cut looks pretty good. It doesn't look great. I'm going to slow the speed down here a little bit, just so it doesn't get away from me. Now that leaves me quite a little nub here, so I'll need to sand this whole area, and I'll probably mount a 2-inch sanding disc up here. Stand by. So we'll just mount a chuck in the chuck, a drill chuck in the 4-jaw chuck. And then I will mount my 2-inch sanding disc in that. Then we'll grab our piece and sand the bottom off. So here it is. One Sycamore vase in the books. Has a little spalting going on here. Inside finished up nicely. Bottom finished up nicely. So I'm pretty happy with it, especially since I'm just not a spindle turning kind of guy. But I've done a few recently, and I intend to do more, and I intend to get good at it. This is 6.5 inches tall, 3 inches at the base, about 2.5 inches at the neck, or at the opening, and about 2 3/4 inches at the thickest part here. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, I truly appreciate that. Thank you very kindly. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about 1 a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. Your comments are always welcome, and I respond to all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.